I'm talking to Fabrizio Poli. He's with Tyrus Wings. He's doing an interview with me about why I bought my jet, how I made sense of it. So I want to just make my friends on Facebook really appreciate you joining me here. We're going to have a few people join us on Facebook if you don't mind.
Okay, so Grant, first question. What time frame was there between the first time you chartered a jet and you actually bought your own jet?
You know, that's interesting because I never chartered a jet before I bought mine.
That's good.
Now, I asked a lot of questions to a lot of people. Look, I literally just Fabrizio, I couldn't make sense of the cost of the hours.
Okay.
See, I'm a very, very practical person. I was brought up lower middle class. I've always been brought up to respect money. And so when I started looking at a jet when I was 50. I'm 58 today, probably when I was 55 years old. It took me a very short period of time to pull the trigger.
Okay.
And when somewhere's between 51 and 55, I quit traveling.
Okay.
And I had been traveling 200 and 250 days a year, speaking all around the United States, mostly in the United States, Canada, and North Mexico.
Yeah.
And the travel had become so brutal on me that I started doing less and less travel. And I started doing more online with streaming. I started reaching my customers via Skype, Periscope streams, anything video streaming that I could do live, I was doing more and more of because, frankly, I would rather be directly in front of my customers, but it was so painful to get on American or Delta. It didn't matter what airlines.
Yeah.
I've used them all. I've flown over 3 million commercial miles. I've been in bird strikes, bomb scares, delayed flights, canceled flights, equipment breakdowns. I've seen people kicked off planes. I got in a fight on a plane once before 9/11. Yeah. So it just became a point where I'm like, dude, I can't fly anymore. I'm done. Like every time I would go out, Fabrizio, I would be like, what the hell am I doing standing
and now
in
with
line?
terrorism, with all these airports blowing up and planes blowing up.
This was before all that really started happening, okay?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to start investigating my own plane. Mm-hmm. Now I went through the math. The first thing I did, everybody told me, a couple of buddies of mine, both that are extremely wealthy and successful.
Yeah.
Everybody's telling me a plane doesn't make sense. Everybody told me a plane didn't make sense and didn't have a plane.
Okay. Yeah.
The guy, Warren Buffett said it doesn't make any sense, so he bought the whole freaking,
He's got 750 jets now. So.
He bought them all, and he'll tell you, it's the thing in his life that he would not get rid of.
Yeah.
So I talked to a car dealer friend of mine that's he went from poverty, came into this country. He's worth $3 billion today. He says that guy can squeeze a quarter. Literally, the eagle screams and flies off the quarter. He's so tight. He owns 3 jets. So I'm looking around. I'm doing them. I'm like, all the rich people have them, man.
Yeah.
Why do the rich people have them and the people that don't have them? I mean, the wealthy have them. The rich don't have them. The wealthy have them.
I did a story a few weeks ago. Right on this. I took 2 companies that are in the same business, Tesco supermarket chain in the UK, and they've got supermarkets all over the world, and Walmart. And interestingly enough, Walmart operate the largest private jet fleet in the world. And they continued buying jets, even in the recession, 2008, 2009, they continued buying jets and using them. And they still can offer discounted groceries at the store, while Tesco's just sold their fleet of jets last year.
Yeah.
It's a big scandal here in the UK. But you look at the 2 companies, Walmart are making money and they keep buying jets.
Yeah.
Tesco's have sold their jets and they're losing money. That tells you a story there.
Yeah, there's a story. So if you look at wealthy people, you show me a really wealthy person, I'm going to show you somebody that either owns a jet or charters a jet.
Yeah.
And a lot of them own the jet. Now, back to why I never chartered. Because I could not. And I did all the math, okay? Okay, I'm going to go buy 100 hours. 100 hours is going to cost me $900,000. Isn't that about right, U.S.?
Yeah. If it's a big airplane,
So I'm playing it out. Remember, my first purchase of a jet, I never chartered. My first purchase was a mid-size, a Gulfstream 200. It's a super mid-size, right?
Airplane. Good choice. Very good choice.
I could not, in my mind, because I'm so practical, make sense of $900,000. My thinking was this: I'm going to write a check for $900,000. I'm going to go through the 100 hours in 6 months, or worse, I'm not going to use the 100 hours because I don't want to write another check. You follow me?
Yeah.
I want to save those hours. But see, so I'm like, okay, am I going to write a second check for $900,000? Let's say I go through the 100 hours. Am I going to write another one for $900,000? I'm so cheap that I'm like, I'm not going to write it. I'm just not going to travel. But if I buy the damn thing, if I buy it and I park it out here at Opelika out in Miami, and it's sitting there going down in value every day, what am I going to do? I'm going to use it every day. So for me, I went ahead and paid for the jet. I bought a jet because it forced me.
Can you disclose how much you paid for it, or you're not happy to do
This
that?
was about $8 million.
Okay.
This 2008 Gulfstream 200 has 2,800 hours on it when I bought it. It was owned by 4 guys.
Yeah.
And I don't. It's a, what is it called? 99.
Part 91, you mean?
Yeah, 91. It's 91, part 91. It's not a 135.
The people, you just keep it for yourself.
I never charter it. Okay. Yeah. Now, let me just tell you my thinking. Okay, because most people think, dude, that was stupid doing that. Okay. Look, I would not travel if I had to write a check to do it.
Yeah.
I would not. Now, I do have to write a check, but the point is that jet sits out there, so I look for every opportunity to go use that jet. It's like having a vacation home. If you have
how many pilots do you employ? How many pilots do you have?
I have 2 pilots full time.
Just 2. Okay.
I have to have 2 pilots full time. They work for me. They only work for me. When I get on that plane, my clothes are on that plane. My music's on that plane. Nobody else has been on that plane. Nobody else drank on that plane. Okay. I know who's on that. I know that plane. Like I know my cars, my family, my kids, the personality. I know when something glitches on it, I know, oh, dude, it's just a computer. Don't worry, reboot, let's roll. Yeah. I wouldn't know that in a fleet.
Yeah.
And that gives me comfort.
Yeah, plus the pilots. You know your pilots. You know them personally.
Dude,
you know
I know them like family, okay? When I go on a trip, I'm getting ready to go to St. Bart's. I can't land in St. Bart's with this thing, but when I go there, one of the pilots is going to be with me the whole trip. He's going to stay with me. We're going to work. He works in another business with me, so I can actually give other opportunities to the pilots.
That's good. That's great because pilots these days work a lot of hours and earn very little money compared to 15, 20 years ago.
Well,
there's a bit of the industry for the pilots. And I know that because I used to be an airline pilot up until 4 years ago. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to quit doing this airline pilot thing because I bet you I can make more money selling aircraft instead of flying them. And that's exactly the case.
Yeah, but pilots could make more money if they would find a good. I mean, they got access to the wealthiest people on the planet.
Yeah.
The thing the pilot's missing is this: they only fly the plane.
Yeah.
They shouldn't just fly the plane. You have access to the wealthiest people on planet Earth, okay?
Yeah.
And courageous wealthy people, okay? When you buy a jet, dude, that's a freaking like that's not, you can't fake that deal, okay?
No.
So you have access to the wealthiest people. If I was a pilot, I would never go home. I'd stay with them, man. I'd be their chauffeur, their plane guy, their golfing buddy. I'd be everything to those wealthy people.
So what made you choose the Gulfstream G200 against other aircraft? What did you like about it?
Well, I started on a Phenom. I started on a Phenom 100.
Yeah, that's a bit small.
I'm like, that's too small. I went to a Phenom 300. I'm like, okay, that's just the air condition and the heater all in your face all the time.
Yeah.
Then I went to the Hawker. I went to a Hawker 800, a Hawker 900. I actually had a Hawker 900 under contract. I didn't feel good about the head height, even though I'm not a real tall guy.
Putting bags in there is difficult as well.
And then I ended up at a Gulfstream and a Challenger 300. I said, look, I know my plane. My plane's going to be a super midsize. I like the cabin. I never want more than 3 or 4 people in a plane that fits 9. I don't want to be cramped up.
How much influence did your wife have on the decision of the airplane?
My wife is more of a. My wife is not a lot. Okay, my wife is more. You're right.
Okay.
You're writing. You're thinking. Okay. Now I will tell you this about what my wife did. How she did influence. She said that if you're not going to do it now, when are you going to do it?
Yeah.
She has been the one kind of seeding the idea that this was something I needed to do for myself so that I could stay on the road and keep doing what I want to do with people, which is help people. Yeah. So she's the one that said, if you're not going to do it at 58, you're not going to do it at 70.
Yeah.
So she really shortened the timeline because it made sense. Like, well, I'm not going to want to use a jet when I'm 75.
Yeah.
You know, I want to travel now. We used it last year. We used it over 250 hours last year. Nice. And I probably could have used it more.
Yeah. Did you go international as well? Did you just stick around the US?
We go down to South America. This plane I would never take, personally wouldn't fly private overseas.
Why?
Because flying a 380, I mean, how do you beat a 380, dude? How do you beat those big super jets, commercial jets? The cabins are just so wonderful on those. For $18,000, I can fly $18,000 from here to England, first class on a Lufthansa 380 to Frankfurt.
Yeah.
It's so comfortable. The food's so good. I can. The restrooms are huge. You just can't do that in private. I don't have a 650 Gulfstream.
Yeah.
I don't have the big cabins. But even if I had a Gulfstream 350, I'd still think I'd want to be on that A380.
Well, I mean, it depends really, because we've got a client in Manchester here in England, and he has a Challenger 300, and he goes up to New York all the time, and they do one fuel stop on the way out, and then they go direct on the way back because of the wind.
See, I just think that's too small a plane to go overseas.
Yeah, well, everybody's got their preference. Some people don't like to sit in these smaller airplanes for more than like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the longest trip you've ever done in yours?
We do Miami, LA all the time.
Okay.
Miami, Seattle, I've done that. I mean, I can go cross country. I can cover the whole United States. I just can't come see you, man.
Yeah. So this thing about terrorism?
I mean, let me just say this. I can make it from here to Miami to Paris. I just come up or from Miami to Portugal, actually.
Yeah.
I get like 25 miles from the coast.
Yeah.
And it's those last 25 miles that are problematic.
Okay. Well, maybe you get a bigger plane later and make the trip across. But let's talk about terrorism.
Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about geopolitical situation and how you, from being a private jet owner yourself, I mean, how do you think this is influencing people as far as ditching the whole thing of flying the airlines and let me go and buy a jet?
Well, number one, even before the crazy things that are happening, dude, let's face it, man. Being on a plane with 200 other people, I mean, there's a good chance you got some terrorists on that plane. I'm talking about wackos and crazies, suicidals. Look, there's so many prescription meds. There's so many people on prescription meds in this country today that why would anybody want to get on a plane with 200 people?
Yeah, well, I remember when I did my first anti-terrorism course, as you do with the airlines, they told me there's 3 types of terrorists: the mad, the bad, and the sad.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've got those people that are mad because they're taking prescription medication.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're difficult to spot. They're just a one-off, and they'll do something stupid on the airplane, like a bomb in his shoes and blow himself up.
Well, not even that, dude. Just people going crazy. People man, I don't want a guy that smells bad next to me. That's a form of terrorism, okay?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've had about, in total in my career, about 15 people arrested on my flights.
Yeah. I'm not big on, look, I got in a fight on a plane because the guy wouldn't get out of my seat.
Okay, there you go.
So, I let him, I said, dude, take the seat. That's fine. I went back to 22. I sat in 22. It was an empty flight in the back. I sat in the back. When the plane landed in San Diego, this is pre-9/11, I walked back up there to seat 3C, okay? When he stood up, I cracked him on the top of the head with one of my books. I said, you need to read this. If you're not first, you're last. If I did that today, I'd be arrested.
Yes.
Right? He was, by the way, arrested in San Diego and taken to jail because everybody in first class said Mr. Cardone didn't cause the problem. He did. Why he walked away with his little lump on his head. But I would just say, in addition to the crazies on planes, now the terrorism, man. Look, me and my family have never felt better about the decision we made to fly private because we know who's on that plane, who got on that plane, what's on that plane. I'm protected on that plane. I have all the equipment, if you know what I mean, on my plane. You know what I mean? All the things you can't bring on a plane, I have on my plane, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about how you use your plane to make money, because this is the big thing.
Dude, time is money. Time is money. It's what everybody knows and nobody does. Time is money. If time is money, I can buy time. Okay? I've done 4 cities in one day in that plane. 4 different cities.
Give an example of your day going out to 4 cities. What type of deal you were doing that day and the timings?
I did Miami, Daphne, Alabama, little tiny runway, Daphne, Alabama. Got in the plane, went to Atlanta, met with Fran Tarkenton, looked at a piece of real estate in Daphne. On my way home, diverted to Atlanta to meet with Fran Tarkenton to do the Fran Tarkenton's the Hall of Fame Minnesota Vikings quarterback.
Yeah, quarterback, yeah.
I'm in the air. I'm like, hey, Fran, I could fly in right now. Look, when you have a plane and tell somebody you can fly in right now, dude, they'll see you.
Yeah.
Okay? Diverted from Atlanta to New York City, did a meeting in New York, flew back to Miami all in the same day. It's impossible to do that. That would take 4 days to do on a commercial airlines. So and was with my kids. My kids were with me while we did the trip.
That's good.
And my wife.
Yeah. Have you ever used your plane to go and pick a client up and bring them to you?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
Yes, we have. We've done all that. Okay.
And how do you think that has influenced the deal that you were doing with them? The fact that you sent your plane out to pick them up?
Dude, I had a billionaire on a plane with me. I had a guy just sold his company for $21 billion. We were both in New York. He was leaving that night. He was flying back commercial, believe it or not.
Oh.
I said, dude, don't bother, bro. Just sleep in. I'll pick you up tomorrow morning. I'll drop you off. Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that'd be awesome. And then the guy, he's right-handed, and I put him in the right chair. He loves to write. He reads a lot, and he circles stuff, and he put ink on the what's it called?
On the
panel, man, on the panel.
Yeah.
And I can't get the ink off, but he's worth $4 billion, so I don't think I'm gonna send him a bill. I'm just gonna eat it. But look. If I was flying commercial that day, what am I gonna tell him? Hey, man, why don't you fly back with me tomorrow on Delta? We can sit next to each other and hold hands.
Yeah.
It's not much of an offer, right? I'm like,
what
hey,
did he say about the plane? Did he like the plane?
He loved the plane.
Yeah.
And interesting enough, when we were leaving Teterboro, the guy that sold me the plane, Kevin White, happened to be in Teterboro. I turned Teterboro onto Bob Duggan. Bob Duggan now is looking at a plane. Kevin might get a deal out of it. Like when you fly private, you're going through these private airports. You're not meeting the vice presidents of companies anymore. You're meeting the people that own the companies.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. I sell books, okay? I write books and we sell books. So every time we go to a private, to an FBO, we're dropping off books. We give books to pilots. We introduce ourselves to people. I mean, it's a great way to make great connections if you want to get out there and get the world to know you. Not to mention, when I own a jet, okay, I can put that's Grant Cardone that's 365 GC. Yeah. That basically says I'm being me, GC. GC is my initials, and 10X is one of my books. You couldn't do this. NetJets wouldn't let you put your logo on the tail of the plane.
Yeah, it's a great branding exercise as well. Yes.
Tremendous branding.
Yeah. Yeah, great. So, what are your plans for the future then, with airplane wise? Do you think you'll get more planes, or will you always?
No, we won't get more, but we will definitely get a bigger one at some point.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, everybody gets bigger. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
Go big or go home.
So do you think you'll be using your plane more in the next six months to a year compared to last year? I mean, you did a very good first year, 250 hours.
Yeah, but even the 250-hour thing, people are like, if you don't fly 250 hours, it doesn't make sense. I think you can make sense of it at 150 hours.
Yeah, I think even 100.
Even 100 hours.
I mean, I'm telling people now, go out. If you want an airplane that's got like 3,200 miles, you can go out and buy a Falcon 50. Refurbish it, put new interior, new engines, new avionics, all for less than $5 million.
Yeah.
And it'll cost you maybe $800,000 a year to operate, to do about 120 hours a year.
Yeah.
But you've got your own airplane. It's available 24/7. It'll take you around the world, basically, even across the Atlantic. And it's a great business tool.
Yeah. It's a business tool, period. Okay. You own a printer, you own a desk, you own an office. Now, you probably lease that equipment. So you could lease it if you want to, but this is something when I get on, I want to know who's been on it. Look, you're in the air, man.
Yeah.
Okay? You're at 38,000 feet, 40,000 feet. You want to know I am in something, it's mine. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of people have the idea that they would charter, and I guess if you're flying 50 or 60 hours a year, it doesn't make sense. At some point, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Unless you got more money than you got time, which I want to expand time. So to me, time is more valuable than money, and that's why I bought the jet.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, Grant, thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you. By the way, let me just say this. This has been the single best investment I have ever made in my life, in my entire life.
Yeah, thank you very much, Grant.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Be great.